Greetings. I'm George Valdosta Rhines, a retired military veteran. And as you know, 2 or 3 years I have been talking about how Valdosta, Lowndes County is a strange place to live, but it is a good place to live. Behind me is the flagpole, and this is nothing more than the Southern Judicial Complex, where people come to receive justice under the court system in the state of Georgia. Now, I'm going all through town here the 26th of May, and I hope to be at the event tomorrow for Memorial Day. I have been around the city, and I'm going to show you how people disrespect our men and women in uniform by not flying a Georgia flag. Now, some people say to me, Rhymes, why are you concerned about the Georgia state flag not being flown? I mean, how does that affect you? Does it put any money in your banking account? Does it pay your children's student loan? Well, oh, by the way, last week when I was at City Council, somebody hit me up on my YouTube channel, Boston G.B.R, and they called me a race baiter. Do they call me a race baiter because I report what your local TV stations, radio, and newspapers will not? Well, call me a race baiter. They call Jesus a race baiter. They call the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. a race baiter. So if you want to call me a race baiter, if that's what makes you happy, go ahead. I want you to do what you do because what you do comes from your heart. I've been going around town. This is the last place I'm going to stop. And so I thought I would do this live video. But as I travel across the city, I've been recording government buildings mostly, where there is a state flag to represent our military personnel stationed at Moody Air Force Base, just 6 or 7 miles away from here. Just 6 or 7 miles away. Now, but I came here because I've been talking about this for at least 2-3 years. And these elected officials, I guess, believe that I'm the only person in Valdosta that serve their country, that give a damn about our active duty, disabled, retired military veterans, and the parents who lost their children on foreign battlefields. Let me close this out. I'm going to turn now to the building. This is a beautiful building. It was built a few years ago, the old courthouse. And by the way, the old courthouse, they do fly a Georgia state flag. And you will see them on my video I post tomorrow. But here, there is no Georgia state flag. Now, don't get me wrong. We'll give them honor and give them credit. At least they have it, the United States flag at half-mast or half-staff. But as far as the Georgia flag, they don't even fly. And if I was a judge in this superior courtroom, and if I was the one that sat on the bench, I would be embarrassed. If I was an attorney that came to this establishment and I see there's no Georgia flag displayed, knowing that for me to get my license, I had to go before the bar, man, what you talking about? I would tell somebody in local governments, the city mayor, the city elected officials, or the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners, or some Moody Air Force Base commander. But I would tell somebody, why are you not flying the flag that represents our men and women in uniform? Once again, y'all excuse me. I'm George Valdosta Rhines. I can't help it if I love you and your children more than the people you vote into office. And since these people do not seem interested in flying a Georgia state flag, you may not want to vote them back in the office. You may make a better decision next time. Well, you all have a nice day. Y'all know they call me a lot of dirty names. But let me ask you a question. I served during the Vietnam era. Now, if I could undo my service to this country, just maybe black people need to ask a question, not about this flag situation, but about the way we get impediments, the way they suppress the black votes, and after blacks are elected, they remove them from office. Or you have to go to Boston G.B.R. I've done my homework, and I've done it well because the military taught me how to do things well. Not to give them hell, but to just teach them well. Y'all have a nice day. George Boss the Rhyme to Get To Free Press, and we report what others ignore, and they ignoring the flag. They are ignoring the fact that the Georgia state flag is not being flown. Now, I want to see if WALB TV, if ABC TV, if CBS, or if the Valdosta Daily Times, our only newspaper. I'm going to see if they call me in for an interview, since I'm the one talking about your sons and your daughters out of 51,000 people here in Valdosta. I tell you all, somebody got to stand up for Jesus. Somebody got to stand up for Jehovah God. Somebody got to stand up for Allah. Somebody got to stand up for Buddha. Somebody got to stand up for the son of Abraham and G.B.R. Moses in the spirit of the God that gave us the life sources that we have on this planet. But if we all go to sleep, I'm sorely afraid we're going to lose this republic because we don't say nothing. The founding fathers gave us freedom of speech, freedom of movement, the right to vote, the right to own property. But if you're not careful, our children will not enjoy any of the rights. Our grandchildren and great-grandchildren and coming generations will not enjoy any of these rights. And if we don't stand up, to be honest with you, not only do your children don't need those rights, you don't need them either. Because if you don't fight to preserve and to keep them current as our founding fathers, as well as black people in the black community, they bled, they suffered, they died. Police brutality is still among us, but we did not quit. And I'm not going to quit. I love my grandmother, and I love my mama, and I love my granddaddy. And they stood up. Didn't nobody push over them. They knew they had to pay a price for it, maybe, but they still did it because they loved us just that much. Now, y'all have a nice day, and may God bless you. And for you all who want to call me a lot of dirty names, have at it, my beautiful brothers and sisters. Because regardless of what you say to me, I'm still going to say to you that I love you. I don't travel the road that you travel. I know another Jesus. I know another Muhammad. I know another Allah. I know another Jehovah. I know another Abraham and G.B.R. Moses' son. Okay? So you do what you do because it comes from your heart, and I'm doing what I'm doing because it comes from my heart. God bless you all, and may heaven smile upon you. Greetings. I'm George Boss the Rhyme with the Get To Free Press, and I'm in the little hedgery here in Valdosta, Georgia, where a homeless man was found dead on March 29, 2019. And the crime scene, or where he died, was not cleaned up until nearly 2 months after the body was removed. And I got all that on video on my Boston YouTube channel. That's Boston G.B.R, so I won't get into that. I was before City Council on Thursday of last week, and I talked about the racism here in Valdosta. And as a result of my truth speaking, and where Floyd E. Rose was nearly arrested and taken out of council meeting, Well, I figured I need to go back and cut a lot of short videos to let you see what happens here in the metro city of Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, known as Title Town in football. Today, the front page of our only daily newspaper, the Valdosta Daily Times, said, "Pulse of the voters. Residents express wide array of views on Trump walls and politics." When one look at this newspaper that's published today, first of all, we see one black man that I know. There's another man that is kind of questionable. But the city of Valdosta is majority black. Why did they not go into the black community and get more black opinions on this issue? I'm going to continue to say it. Something is seriously wrong here with the news media networks. If nobody else will say it, we will say it as a veteran of the Vietnam era. Now, why did not they clean up this scene when they found the body laying on a mattress with maggots beneath his hairline? They left the maggots in his hair here. Nobody cleaned it up. So I asked a question to the people of Valdosta. Number one, what is the, and you all should ask some of these questions too. What is the policy and procedures about a crime scene or alleged crime scene? Who's responsible for cleaning it up? Who's responsible for ensuring that debris is removed? Who's responsible for ensuring that a bona fide police report provide information to the news media so the people will have a right to know what is going on in their beloved communities? Now, it's strange here. Today is May the 26th. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. And after I published my video on Boston G.B.R. on YouTube, there was an individual by the name of ALBRIGHT. ALBRIGHT. I think I got it right. Normally, I don't respond to people who speak ill of the work that I do, because I know why you do it. But I will say this. He chose to refer to me as a race beta. And so I'm going to talk to you about a race beta. How could he, black or white, call me a race beta? So I want you to know the next video that you see is going to be as a result of me trying to explain in simple chicken and ducks term what causes a person to be called a race beta. It might be because I exposed that the Valdosta Daily Times did not do anything about this body that was found dead. There was another man found dead over there by Reams. What do the taxpayers in Valdosta know about this? What do you know about it? What do you know about, well, a race beta? A race beta. I think we need to try and define what a race beta is. Join me as we travel I-75 along the route of race betas and their location. Greetings. Today is May the 26th and tomorrow is Memorial Day. So I decided to stand in front of a few businesses and locations around the city of Valdosta to recognize the outstanding work of our active duty, disabled, and retired military veteran, as well as those who lost their lives on foreign battlefields. I'm standing in front of the Valdosta Daily Times, a very old newspaper, and I just wanted you to see, this is the flagpole at this newspaper and we do not see a Georgia flag, and that's not a big thing. But one thing I will say, I have pictures when a state flag was flown over this business. I think I know why it's not flying. I don't think some people approved of Sonny Perdue when he became governor of the state of Georgia. We're gonna go to a few more locations because we home to Moody Air Force Base. And if nobody else, now I'm not talking about this is a private newspaper, they got it right. But I'm gonna show you where there's no difference when it comes to government buildings. Today is May the 26th, Sunday. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. And I'm standing east of Valdosta City Hall, and we can see that there is now a Georgia state flag being flown at Valdosta City Hall. And it shows respect to the colonels, the lieutenant colonels, the majors, the captains, the lieutenants, and all the non-commissioned officers stationed at Moody Air Force Base just a few miles away. This is what I presented to the mayor and council for 2 or 3 years now, but they finally put it up a few days ago over City Hall. And this is where our Mayor John Gale, and our honorable elected city council members sit on behalf of the taxpayers of Valdosta. We want to commend them for doing something to honor our military personnel, especially on Memorial Day. This is in front of the City Hall Annex, and there is no state flag being flown, and you come to your own conclusion. But I do believe that the people in Valdosta, the taxpayers, especially those who have children serving in the armed forces in the state of Georgia, should have a Georgia state flag representing their children on this Memorial Day. So let Valdosta be known. I will come back and check tomorrow. No Georgia flag being flown on Memorial Day 2019. This is in front of the Southern Judicial Circuit in Valdosta, Georgia. This is the courthouse where people come expecting justice, both civilians, active duty, disabled, retired military veterans, as well as the parents who lost their children possibly on foreign battlefields. And today is May the 26th. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. They got the flag half-staff, but there is no Georgia state flag being flown. Now, I have brought this up to elected officials in the city and county for approximately 3 years. And we're going to continue to speak about it, even if the base commander at Moody Air Force Base, elected officials in city and county government don't say anything. We're going to continue to talk about it, because I believe our children, those men and women in uniform, deserve some level of real respect, not just a ceremony on Memorial Day. I'm talking about real respect. And to me, this is disrespectful. And by the way, because I do this when nobody else apparently cares or don't see a need to, maybe this is why I was called a race baiter by an individual on Boston G.B.R. on YouTube. But as a veteran, I want to say to all service personnel, I thank you for your service, and I believe on your behalf there should be a Georgia state flag. And if I was an elected official, and if a taxpayer identified this to me, I would move immediately to get a Georgia state flag displayed as soon as possible, because I would not want to disrespect you who put your life on the line for this republic. This is the Get To Free Press. This is my Memorial Day gift to our active duty, disabled, and retired military veterans. I'm standing in front of the old courthouse here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. And as you can see, there is a state flag to honor the military personnel here in the state of Georgia. Now, don't you think that that is the appropriate things to do? Therefore, I hope that this courthouse will go over on Tuesday and tell the chairman of the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners and their members that they may want to imitate the old courthouse, because it is right to do right. Again, to all the parents and to all military personnel, I thank you for your service, and this is why I do this. I don't just want to give you words on Memorial Day or Veterans Day and leave it there. You deserve the same honor. You see, they got the flag at half staff, and that is appropriate. And both flags represent the best elected officials that we can have in Valdosta and Lowndes County. And when they refuse, for whatever reason, not to fly and honor our veterans, well, I'm gonna let the people of Valdosta, religious communities, and others, including the people at Moody Air Force Base, I'm gonna let them see how much love and respect they have for our men and women in uniform. This is the defects building, and we can see a United States flag and a Georgia state flag, all to honor members of our armed forces on Memorial Day, Monday, May the 27th. I want to commend the director and those at this facility for honoring our veterans, disabled veterans, the parents whose children may have died on foreign battlefields. Thank you for not just going to a ceremony tomorrow, but you are indeed showing respect by having the flag half-mast, and you also have a Georgia state flag. Peace be unto you. I'm sure the base commander, squadron commanders at Moody Air Force Base, and all of the airmen stationed there are proud, because they are truly honored by seeing the Georgia state flag displayed as it should be. This is the Get To Free Press, and we report what others ignore. This is Georgia Department of Labor in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, a state-ran facility, and we know that this is where people come to search for jobs, employment, even active duty personnel and retired, disabled military veterans, they come here. But as you can see, they got the flag half-staff at the Georgia Department of Labor. As in a, I'm sorry, there's not even a Georgia flag. There is no flag displayed at all. Let me see again. Georgia Department of Labor, and there is no flag at all being flown. And tomorrow is labor, not labor, but Memorial Day. Wow, isn't this something? Once again, this is Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia, home of the group known as Titletown, USA. This is Lowndes County, government building, tax office, and you can see that they are honoring the active duty, disabled, retired, and deceased military veterans, even those that died on foreign battlefields. And so we want to commend the elected officials for ensuring that those who serve this country are respected tomorrow on Memorial Day. Peace be unto you, and this is your right to know. Wherever there is freedom of the press, you can always depend on being informed. Because without freedom of the press, we should not send our sons and daughters to fight for a country wherein they don't have rights. As I rode round into the back of the Lowndes County Tax Commission's office or building, they even have a Georgia state flag flying in back of it. I want to commend them again on behalf of all the commanders and airmen stationed at Moody Air Force Base. Thank you for really honoring our military personnel on Memorial Day. God bless you. This is the Get To Free Press, and we report what others ignore. This is at the Valdosta Police Headquarters, and as we can see, there is a United States flag and a Georgia flag. It may not be at half staff, but at least they are honoring our men and women in uniform, and we commend them for showing respect to members of our armed forces. Some of the people in the military are law enforcement, MPs, etc. So we want to commend again the Valdosta Police Department and our elected officials that had something to do with properly flying and respecting the commanders and non-commissioned officers now stationed at Moody Air Force Base. This also includes those that are in the reserves, and in cases of natural disasters, they are called upon to meet the needs of the citizenry. So we commend the local law enforcement facilities and individuals that made this possible. This is the Valdosta and Lowndes County Parks and Recreation Authority. And this is also where the veterans meet every Thursday. I think I've been to a few meetings, but not as many. I haven't attended as many as I should. But as you can see, they are flying the American flag, but there is no Georgia state flag. And it seems to me at least the veterans that attend here should see if they can call the mayor and council or the chairman of the commission and see if they can afford a Georgia flag to represent those stationed out at Moody Air Force Base and to honor all active duty, disabled, and retired military veterans. After all, you see some facilities fly and some don't. It looks good when we honor on Memorial Day the members of our various branches of the service. What say you, the people of Valdosta and Lowndes County, if you care? This is Fire Station number 2 in the city of Valdosta, Park Avenue, and we see a flag, a Georgia flag and a United States flag. They are not half staff, but at least they are flying it to show respect to those in the military and those that have served. This is a senior citizens center, recreations and parks in Valdosta, Georgia. And this is a facility for our senior citizens. And as you can see, they are flying the United States flag and the Georgia flag. However, tomorrow, Memorial Day, it's not half staff, but at least they are honoring the people that served in the armed forces. They are showing that they go beyond lip service in honoring the men and women in uniform. As a veteran myself, as the Muslims say, Alhamdulillah, which means all praises due to God. I'm not a Muslim, but I love all religions, and I love all people. And if you're a Jew, I just say Shalom. And if you're a Christian, I just say bye-bye with God. I'm at the South Georgia Medical Center, and we see both flags flying. They're not at half staff, but at least they are flying to show honor to those military personnel and their parents for serving in the armed forces of our nation. As I say each and every time, God bless America, and God bless the elected officials that respect members of our armed forces. Valdosta Board of Education, Superintendent's Office, and as we go to the flagpole, we can see that they are honoring members of our armed forces, as well as the state of Georgia Reserve Forces. And all we can say is we appreciate the superintendent and the elected officials for honoring the airmen at Moody Air Force Base, Georgia. It's not half staff, but at least they are flying to show honor on Memorial Day tomorrow. May God bless you. May heaven smile upon you, and you have a right to know. On behalf of your children and loved ones, now in uniform. Right down from the Board of Education is the American Legion, Post 13, and we thought we would film it to see if they had a Georgia flag. And it is what it is. I don't see a Georgia state flag. Peace be unto all the veterans and to all the active duty and the parents of the deceased children that have lost their loved ones. This is Valdosta, Georgia. I must say that all around Valdosta State University that there is great respect and honor paid to the airmen at Moody Air Force Base, the squadron commanders and the base commanders, and to the non-commissioned officers, commissioned officers. And we must commend Valdosta State University for being ready for Memorial Day. So we just want to thank the good people at Valdosta State University as they give honor and respect to your sons and daughters and loved ones in the city of Valdosta, Georgia. This is the VA outpatient clinic in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. And tomorrow is Memorial Day, and we do not see a flag at all over this facility. And to the people at Moody Air Force Base and all who serve our beloved nation, we just want to say thank you for your service. To all the veterans that come here to get treatment, we thank you for the outstanding service that you've done to keep our freedoms and to preserve and protect our form of government. Once again, Valdosta, Georgia, VA Outpatient Clinic. Today is May the 26th. I'm in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. This is the Lowndes County Board of Elections office where the Honorable Deb Cox preside, and I'll tell you that when it comes down to being on point, I have always known her to be fair, professional, and today is no different. As you can see, she has the American flag and the Georgia flag to represent members of our armed forces, the personnel at Moody Air Force Base, the disabled, retired, parents with the pain of having their children maybe killed on foreign battlefields. Well, we want to commend her and the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners for ensuring that our service members are respected. Again, we report what others ignore. Today is Sunday, May the 26th. I'm in front of City of Remington City Hall, and of course there is a United States flag, but there is no Georgia state flag to honor our reserve forces here in the state of Georgia, the active duty, disabled, retired, and deceased veterans. And we want you to know. And of course, this is the City of Remington Fire and Police Department. And this is the big city of Remington, surrounded by Valdosta. Once again, we report what others ignore. Tomorrow is Memorial Day, and we thought you might want to know. This is Georgia Boss the Ryan to Get To Free Press. I'm in Valdosta, Georgia. And of course, it is May the 26th, and tomorrow will be Memorial Day. And I'm here in front of Southeastern Federal Credit Union, and I do not see a Georgia flag displayed to represent the people at Moody Air Force Base, nor the reserve forces in the state of Georgia. Again, tomorrow is Memorial Day, and it's not at half-staff either. But I do respect and honor all the men and women that served our beloved nation in time of war, peace, and during natural disasters. And I believe that Valdosta and Lowndes County is showing a reflection of how we as a community respect those that put their life on the line. Greetings. This is another American Legion post, American Veterans AMVET on East Highway 84. And as you can see, they are flying a United States flag, but there is no Georgia flag. And so we know that veterans freak. We know that veterans flock here. But I'm going to ask again, when will we begin to honor the active duty, disabled, retired, and deceased military veterans here in the state of Georgia? I believe that there should be a flag flown. If not, why not? I'm out near the mall, and this is First Federal Savings Bank, and of course you can see that they have a United States flag and a state flag to honor the local airman station at Moody Air Force Base, and other veterans in active duty across the state of Georgia. And I do believe that this is a good bank to bank at if they think enough of your children who are serving to defend this nation against both foreign and domestic enemies. Isn't that a beautiful sight to behold? Once again, First Federal Savings, Valdosta, Georgia. This is at the Rainwater Conference Center. Probably 2 or 3 years ago, I came out here and filmed, and I thought that would be enough to say to our elected officials that it is indeed embarrassing not to fly the Georgia flag, especially on a monument that is said to honor the veterans for their sacrifices. And of course, after I did all of those videos highlighting how no flag was displayed with all this memorabilia to the branches of our armed forces, and yet in 2019, day before Memorial Day, there is still not a Georgia flag being flown over this conference center. As you know, I was here 2 years ago with the class of 1968, and you know there's controversy because of the lack of black employment at top levels of the job market here. But it's just amazing how we give home to Moody Air Force Base. And those people that we elected to office, I guess they don't feel embarrassed when people come here and from all the way around the world, really. And they look at this monument, they read it, and they look up, and they don't even see a Georgia flag to represent the active duty, disabled, retired military veterans, nor the parents whose children perished on foreign battlefields. As a retired military veteran of 20 years, I do believe that Valdosta and Lowndes County one day will vote into office someone who will value the sacrifices of the mothers and fathers and their children here in the state of Georgia. This is still in Valdosta and Lowndes County. Lowndes County Board of Education, School Maintenance Department, and by the way, they have a sign saying no trespassing. And you know they got me on a 6-year bogus criminal trespass ordered by West Taylor or Sheriff Prime, and neither one of them will acknowledge they did it. And it's been 6 years, and they continue to deny me freedom of movement. And this is what they do here in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. Because as somebody told me years ago, they make up their rules as they go, and there's little that anybody will do about it because so many people are afraid to stand up for God and that which is right here in this city and county. And as you can see, this is again the Lowndes County School Board of Education Control facility, but there is no Georgia state flag to honor the men and women, airmen at Moody Air Force Base, the base commander, squadron commanders, and I will continue to say that this is not good under our form of government. Our sons and our daughters are willing to put their life on the line for a nation, and elected officials that will not even fly the Georgia state flag. And now don't blame me. What you may want to do is blame your local major mainstream news media that get paid for what they're doing. I don't get a dime for this. I just love your children. And I love the time I put into the military to keep us safe. And it hurts to see how our beloved nation is drifting away from its core values. This is Colquitt Electric in Valdosta, Lowndes County, Georgia. As you can see, they're flying the United States flag. They also have it at half-staff to honor those that serve in the armed forces, and since tomorrow is Memorial Day, they are showing respect to them. But there is no Georgia flag to show the appreciation for our airmen at Moody Air Force Base, reserve forces, and others. But we commend them for at least flying it at half-staff. Once again, we report what others ignore, and I hope that one day Valdosta will move up to the 21st century. I'm at the McDonald's on Highway 84 West, and surely I thought that McDonald's would be flying a flag half-staff for Memorial Day. I also thought that McDonald's would have a Georgia state flag to show their appreciation for the people of our armed forces, active duty, disabled, retired, and deceased military veterans. Once again, this is Valdosta, Georgia, Highway 84 West, near I-75. McDonald's. This is the Lowndes County Historical Society Museum, and this is an old building, and we have reported on this building when they was not flying a Georgia flag, but they did have a United States flag. But as you can see now, apparently someone must have chosen to take that one down, and all we would say to them is that I think the businesses and the elected officials that fly the flags of our beloved country, that show respect to members of our armed forces, and this is to get to free press, and we report what others ignore, because our children mean that much to us, and we appreciate our form of government. We don't want this government to fall, and we surely don't want the citizens to feel like they are not appreciated, especially since tomorrow is Memorial Day. Bye-bye. There you go. Today is May the 26th, 2019. I'm still in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. This is the Georgia National Guard Armory, I believe. I don't see a Georgia flag even flying at the Georgia National Guard Armory. Good God Almighty. Now, I don't believe this. I will say again that I am a retired military veteran. I just cannot believe this. Tomorrow is Memorial Day. I'm going to be honest with you, maybe I need to shut up. Maybe I need to leave these elected officials alone. When the Georgia National Guard Armory don't even fly a United States flag or a Georgia flag. Well, I'm really outdone here now. But once again, this is Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. That sign, maybe they're out of business. I'm sorry, they may not have a National Guard Armory here anymore. And so I apologize if this is an old sign and if this is an old building that are not utilized anymore. I apologize. But it says Georgia Army National Guard, Delta Company, 2nd BN, 121st Infantry, 48th. Now I'm gonna tell you. Let me go. I can't. I know this is not current. So I'll check into this tomorrow and see if this is a closed facility. You know, I'm in Valdosta and Lowndes County, Georgia. You know, it seems as if though the members of the fire department seem like they really know how to show appreciation for the members of our armed forces and the people stationed at Moody Air Force Base. And we just want to commend them. They have a United States flag as well as a Georgia state flag. Now it's not at half staff, but at least they have one. And tomorrow is Memorial Day. And I think one of the greatest honors that we can pay to the mothers and fathers with children in uniform is not through ceremonies, but actually showing that we appreciate them by standing up for them. And I want to commend the elected officials for ensuring that the fire department represents our sons and daughters well. No Georgia state flag flown at this facility. What does this say to the airmen at Moody Air Force Base? This is under the Lowndes County school system, I believe.